family, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Danny. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell because I am posting this book club video and I want you to be able to be a part of your book club day. So to do that, you have to be notified so you know when they get posted. And if you're not already following me on Instagram, please be sure to do that. It is at the_dancing_bookworm and I post on there full reviews and content. This video is cursed. Officially. This is my third time filming this video. The first time I filmed it, I filmed all my book club videos on the same day, and when I did my grades 3 through 5 video, I deleted my grades 3 through 5 video afterwards. No, I didn't. I deleted this one by accident. So, anywho, I had to re-record it. So I was re-recording it, and I was recording it on my phone because that's just my current setup right now. I don't have a good working camera at the moment. So I recorded it on my phone, and I had 20% battery life left, and I was like, oh, I can make it through in 20% battery life. Literally, in the last minute and 30 seconds, my phone shut down, and I didn't realize that that meant it wouldn't save the video, so I recorded the last minute and 30 seconds on my other phone, because I have, one that works and one that, just is for filming. And so I recorded it on my other phone, and then I found out it doesn't save your videos if it turns off mid-recording. So here's try number 3. So this is the high school reading club, and if you are a part of this, you are reading Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. I literally love this book. It is a 5-star book. It is an amazing, amazing book, but I have talked about it. Now, this will be the third time about the same section, which I know you haven't seen, but I have done it. So this video will probably be shorter than what my other reading club videos are, just because I have talked about this already 2 times before this. Now I have to do it again. But if you have no idea what I'm talking about, please go ahead and click the link up above or the link down in the description box, and that will bring you to our reading club page where I did the reading club announcement. If you want to be a part of it and you are in high school, then you will join us for Far From the Tree, which, like I said, is an amazing book. So I'm not really complaining about talking about it more, but I also am because it's late and I've done stuff all week and I'm tired. Okay, I haven't really done stuff all week because, homebound, but I have been homeschooling my niece and nephew, watching all 3 kids throughout the day, and also doing online classes this week for my dance studio. So I'm a little beat, a little worn out, and now I have to film this video again, which stinks, but I do love this book. So let's jump into talking about it. So we read the first 122 pages for section 1. I think I originally had written down 125. However, the 23, 24, and 25 were in a different chapter, so I just stopped at 122. But basically, so far we have met our characters. We have Grace, who has recently found out that she has 2 biological siblings, and she found this out because she recently gave up a baby for adoption and started getting curious about her biological family because she was adopted when she was born. She originally wants to find her biological mom because she kind of wants to know that, she made the right decision, but she finds out instead that she has a brother and a sister. Her brother Joaquin has not been adopted. He has been living his entire life in foster care, and he is now 17, almost ready to age out of the system. He has had a lot of problems growing up, but he is now in a great foster family with parents who are interested in adopting him. And Maya was adopted, but her life is kind of falling apart around her. Her parents are getting divorced, and she just kind of feels like an oddball in her family because her biological sister looks exactly like their parents, and she feels really outcasted and kind of weird. And Grace is really struggling with going back to school after having her baby and just kind of feels like she has no one. So that's pretty much the entire first section that we just read. Summarized, I want to talk about this week's word of the week, and that is inertia. Inertia is a tendency to do nothing or remain unchanged. The example is, after years of being unhappy at her job, Lucy overcame her inertia and went back to school. What is an example of inertia in real life? So inertia is a science term which means an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. And yes, I did know that off the top of my head. Go me! Woo! Paid attention in science class one time. That stuck with me, of all the weird things to stick with me. However, inertia is used in Far From a Tree as a metaphor for how Maya feels when her parents are telling her that they're getting divorced. She feels stuck, like she can't move unless an outside force was to physically make her move. So, as an example of inertia right now is kind of where we're all at with this quarantine situation. We're all kind of objects at rest right now, and we're not going to move because we don't have to. But like in actual real life sources, if my remote control is sitting in my hand is not moving, the remote control is not moving unless I choose to pick it up with the other hand. Then it's moving. That's inertia, people. Anyway, science. So moving on, because I am not a science teacher, nor am I an English teacher. I just really enjoy book discussions. So we're going to jump into the section 1 questions, which I actually had written down as pre-reading questions, but it was supposed to say section 1 questions. So the first question is, what does Grace call her baby and what's the baby's real name? She calls her baby Peach and the baby's real name is Millie. She calls her Peach because when she found out she was pregnant, the baby was the size of a peach already. Number 2 was, why couldn't Grace's parents adopt Joaquin and Maya too? So when Grace was adopted, Joaquin wasn't like able to be adopted yet. Like he had to go into foster care originally. They also only were able to take in one baby because they found out Grace's grandma was sick. So they had to make a choice and like spend the last year with just kind of a smaller family and weren't ready to take on a bigger family. And then when Maya was born, Grace's grandma had actually just passed away, so they weren't really emotionally ready to take on another kid as well. So number 3 is, what is wrong in Maya's house? And what's wrong in Maya's house is her parents are on the brink of a divorce. They are fighting all the time. There is really no peace, no quiet in Maya's house. I'm sorry about the glare on my glasses, but my laptop screen like reflects into them when I'm trying to read these questions. What did Maya's dad put on their car? So this is my favorite part of the book. And Maya basically comes out to her parents, and her parents are like really supportive and all that stuff. And like her dad is so supportive that he goes out and he puts a rainbow sticker, like the LGBT rainbow, on their car. And so all the neighbors start thinking that he's gay, which they're like, wait, what? So Maya has to tell him that he can't put the LGBT sticker on his car without people thinking that he is the gay one. So I thought that was a funny part. Number 5 is, who are Joaquin's foster parents and what do they want to do? His foster parents are Mark and Linda, and they want to adopt him, but Joaquin is a little resistant to the idea. And by a little resistant, I mean totally, wholeheartedly anti-adoption. So, which we're going to talk about when we get to the discussion section. Number 6 is, where would Joaquin go back in time if he could? So I put this part in, or this question in, because it does play into a big part of Joaquin's story later on. But Joaquin says that if he could, he would go back in time to when he was 12 and messed everything up. So that is a really big part of the story later and like his character arc later. So you need to keep that in mind, that at 12 he thinks he messed everything up, and now he's 17 and he wishes he could go back to that time to fix everything. Number 7, what was Grace's dad's high and low after meeting Maya's family? He said that his high is getting to see Grace and Maya meet for the first time and seeing their like instant sibling bond kind of thing, which Grace didn't really feel, but like I guess it came across that way to her parents. But then the low for him was that he would have to wear a full 3-piece suit or whatever it is, however many pieces are in a suit, every time he goes to Maya's family's house, because Maya's dad wore a full suit and Grace's parents dressed really casually and Maya's parents were like wicked dressed up. And that also kind of says like Grace's family is a little bit more laid back and Maya's family is a little bit all about show. Like they want to look like a good family, but they're actually falling apart at the seams, and Grace's family is actually a good family and they're kind of like just normal, average, everyday people, I guess. Number 8 is, what did Joaquin, Maya, and Grace do for their first outing? They went to get a bite to eat, and they discovered that they all like mayonnaise on their french fries, and then they went to the beach. And I also liked this part because Grace and Maya carry their shoes, or like leave their shoes down, and Joaquin carries his shoes. And I think that's just such a like a good development of like the girls who have been raised by richer families who have had everything. Like if their shoes get stolen, it's not the end of the world, but Joaquin knows the value of a pair of shoes. And I think that's really good, like start to them getting to know each other, is like seeing these little things that make them different. The next question is, what did Adam do that made Grace punch him? So Grace goes back to school and she runs into her ex's best friend, who decides that he is going to play the sound of a baby crying, which triggers Grace to the cry of her baby when her baby was first born, and she falls apart because she is triggered by that sound and like all the pain and like postpartum stuff that she's going through, that she hauls off and punches Adam in the face, and he deserved it. And even the school says that he deserved it. So, what did Maya find in her mom's closet? And she found wine bottles. So we find out that Maya's mom is a wee bit of an alcoholic. And by wee bit, I mean a bit of an alcoholic. And the last question was, when the siblings first meet, they all react to their nerves in different ways. Grace fidgets and doesn't say much. Maya can't stop talking, and Joaquin just goes with the flow while remaining mostly aloof. What do you do in situations that make you nervous, and what sibling do you react most like? Write a journal entry about a time you were nervous and how you reacted. So, I didn't write a journal entry because I just really haven't had time. However, a time that I was nervous, like all the time. I'm just a nervous person. Like, I get nervous so easily. But pretty much any time I have to perform, So, my angle probably changed because, like I said, this video is cursed and I ran out of memory mid-filming. I'm sure we're shocked. Anyway, back to what I was saying, but as a dance teacher, I have the worst stage fright ever. Like, it is horrible, which is surprising because my whole career is about putting people on stage and being on stage and, like, preparing things for stage. But I have the worst stage fright. I am such an introvert. I do not like getting in front of people, and I love acting and singing and dancing, and like they're my favorite like things to do besides like reading and writing and all that stuff, but like it's my career, and I am so nervous every time I get on stage. So I am probably most like Grace. I fidget a ton. My hands are constantly going. I have to like touch things. I have like all these things. I have all these nervous habits, but probably my most annoying nervous habit is I laugh. I have a nervous laugh, and it's wicked annoying, and I know I'm doing it, and I hear myself doing it, and I hate everything about it. So I pretty much just don't talk when I'm nervous because I know the nervous laugh is going to come out, and that's really stressful. So that's basically what my journal entry would have said had I remembered to write a journal entry, which I did not because I just didn't have time. Just did not have time. Anyway, so we're going to get into the discussion, which we are talking about Joaquin during. So Joaquin is 17 and his foster parents want to adopt him. This is a really rare situation. Most older kids in the foster system age out at 18 and their foster families are no longer responsible for their care. The fact that Joaquin's parents want to adopt him when he is almost about to age out means that they think of him truly as a son. They want the responsibility of sending him to college, being there on his wedding day, making sure he's healthy and well for as long as they all live. Why do you think Joaquin is resistant to this? Do you think the reasons he tells himself it's a bad idea are the real reasons, or do you think there's something more to it? Discuss with someone how you would feel if for 17 years you never knew if you were going to you would wake up in the same place that you'd fall asleep that night. Blah. That last part was a tongue twister. Anywho, so this is such a big thing, like, with Joaquin, and I love Mark and Linda. Like, if you think about it, first of all, if they had just, like, been foster parents who were, like, good foster parents and, like, didn't want to see Joaquin struggle at all, you know, they'd, like, save some money for him and stuff like that, and then, you know, like, they'd probably do all the things that they're doing as good foster parents, but when he turned 18, be like, oh, like, the state will help pay for college and stuff like that. Like, they could still be like, oh, like, you can still come home for holidays and we still want to stay in touch and, like, we'll always be, like, your foster parents and stuff like that no matter how old you are. However, they don't want the foster in front of it anymore. They want parents. They want to be his parents. And I think that's amazing because he's 17. In a couple months, he will be aged out of the foster system and they wouldn't have to do anything. Like I said, the state would pay for his college. You know, he'd get assisted funding and stuff like that. And he could still stay in touch with Mark and Linda and they could still be considered like this little family, but that's not good enough for Mark and Linda. They want to be his parents. Think about this. Of all the things that parents say, their biggest fear is being able to afford to send their kids to college, right? Like, that's one of their top fears. Mark and Linda are like, we want to. Like, we want to send you to college. Like, we don't want to take the easy way where the state would pay for it and stuff like that. We want to take care of you for the rest of your life, even though you're almost legally an adult. We want to take care of you for the rest of your life. How amazing are those people? Like, that is phenomenal to me. Like, they want to make them a family. they don't want Joaquin to feel like he's on the outside. They want to be a family. So I just think that that is the coolest aspect to this book, is the love that Mark and Linda have for Joaquin. Like, and Joaquin, like, they even give him the choice. They're like, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. Like, we're not going to force you to be adopted by us. And Joaquin's taking a sweet time to answer, you know? Like, he wasn't like yes or no right away. He's thinking about it. And I just think that that's so cool. Like, Mark and Linda are so, like, they want it so bad, and you can tell that they want it so bad, but they're not forcing it, which is just amazing, amazing, amazing for this situation. And I think Joaquin is resistant to it because he's scared. Like, there's so many things, and I know what happened because I've read the book before, but there's so many things in Joaquin's past that give him the right to be scared. And I think the fact that Mark and Linda are so patient and, like, letting him kind of work through it himself and, like, being there if he has any questions and stuff like that about what adoption is going to mean for them, I think that's amazing. But I just can't get over it. Like, Joaquin is my favorite character of the book. I love Grace and Maya, but I think Joaquin's story could have been a story by itself. I don't know. I just love Joaquin. I love Joaquin, and I love Mark and Linda, and I love that whole family. And I remember reading this for the first time and just going, please, please, please don't ruin this. Please don't ruin this. Please don't ruin this. Still be their son, kind of thing. So, you know, I don't know. It's a really good part of the book. So the next part says to discuss with someone how you'd feel if for 17 years you never knew if you woke up, if where you woke up would be the same place you'd fall asleep that night. And, you know, I'm sure Joaquin, like I said, is scared. Like, I think that that's a very scary thought. Like, for me now as an adult, like, I don't have, like, I'm not able to go into foster care as an adult. So if I, like, went downstairs and tomorrow morning my family was like, we decided you're not living here anymore, I would have nowhere to go. You know, and these kids, like, even though they're given somewhere to go by going into foster care and stuff like that, it's terrifying for these kids. They're, you know, like, they never know who they're living with. Like, they can live with somebody and they can be, like, the nicest, sweetest people, and then one day, like, they find out that they're pregnant with, like, a biological child, and they're like, oh, we can't foster you anymore because now we're gonna have a baby of our own. Like, that is horrible. Like, and it's not that they're bad people or anything, it's just kids are expensive, and if you can't afford them anymore, you can't afford them anymore. Like, that's just the story of it. So I think that these kids are probably terrified every time, you know, they wake up in the morning, because it's like, what's today gonna hold? Where am I gonna go? Who am I gonna be friends with tomorrow? Who am I gonna live with tomorrow? Like, you know, that kind of thing. So the next time we meet is actually gonna be on my birthday, April 3rd. So we're gonna meet and we're going to talk about section 2. So you guys have to read to page 250 by the time that we meet next week. Which, guys, this is such a fast read, and the audiobook is really good. If you guys aren't, like, a fast reader and you'd prefer to listen to it, if you're doing this on Scribd, they have the audiobook, and the audiobook was really good. Like, I listened to it this time on audiobook because I've read the physical copy before, so I just kind of needed a refresher, but the audiobook is really good. But we're just gonna go through real quick the section 2 questions, so you guys have them on here, but I highly suggest clicking the link for the Google Doc down below so that you can physically read the questions as you answer them as well. So, question 1 is, where does Joaquin meet with his therapist? Number 2 is, who does Grace run into at the home supply store? Number 3 is, what is in Grace's envelope? What happened to Maya's mom, and who does she call after 911? So something happens with Maya's mom. Maya calls 911, and as soon as they, like, do what they have to do on the phone, like, with her, she calls another person, and I want you to tell me who that other person is. What does Joaquin first see at Maya's house when he gets there that makes him uncomfortable? Does Joaquin accept the adoption offer from Mark and Linda? So that's the pending question at this book. I was on edge the whole time waiting for that answer, so you guys are going to find out in this next section. What did Grace get in trouble for with her parents? Why did Lauren get mad at Maya? Who does Grace run into at the mall, and what does Joaquin do? And number 10 is, Grace's mom shops online at night when she's too tired to make good decisions. Find 5 items from Bed Bath & Beyond or another home goods store online you think Grace's mom would buy when she's tired. So this is just a fun one. I want you to go online, go to any, like store website that sells home goods, and find 5 ridiculous items that you think Maya's mom would, or Grace's mom would buy when she's insomnia shopping. So Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're not already subscribing, do that, and I hope you guys are enjoying Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. Bye!
Wasn't that a great video? Clearly books make me very happy. Now you can make me happy too. Click the subscribe button to follow my channel. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you think I did good. And the notification bell will let you know when I post new content. Also, follow my Instagram for more book shenanigans.